So the first card you have your pasts, the Knight of Swords, yes. Okay, so obviously this is about being angry, hurt, upset, charging forward, getting yourself hurt, not being happy. So yeah, and swords are about words, thoughts, communication, all of that kind of thing. Someone was really unhappy, obviously, and I think they've been cut out, or they feel as if they've been cut out or pushed out or something like that. And they're not taking this very well. This is in the past, obviously, but it feels quite immediate as well. So it might be an ongoing situation with someone. What I'm getting really clearly is whoever this is, they don't want to take no for an answer. That's what I'm seeing. I don't know if this is an ex. It does feel like a love connection to me, an ex-love connection. But it's not that clear, maybe because this is an ongoing situation, backwards and forwards. I think you might have wanted to be friends at one stage and then it didn't work or something. So it's a little bit unclear there. I'm getting this feeling of, I think you wanted to be understanding. You didn't want to hurt anyone. But then it got to the stage where I think things had to be said. They just had to. You couldn't go on like this. You had to say something. And yeah, an ending had to happen. But yeah, they weren't happy. They just were not happy. And I think this was just dragging on and on until it just became exhausting for you. That's what I'm seeing. They were just kind of wanting to keep talking to you. They wanted to keep this up. They wanted to stay with you. They wouldn't take no for an answer. And it was just so tiring. I feel sad for both sides in this, actually, because if this is you, you just wanted out. I think you might have been, I think you were prepared to stay in contact with them, maybe as friends. I keep on seeing that. But then I think things just went beyond that. And, with some of the things they said, I just think you want peace now from all this. That's the feeling I'm getting. It's hard because I think you do feel for them, but it's just time to protect yourself now because, you have a lot going on. There's a lot you want to do, and this is just taking up a lot of your energy. So I'm just really feeling this exhaustion, and it is sad for them, but this is your reading, and you have to conserve your energy, and you have to think about what's right for you. So that's what I'm getting in that card. Okay, so the next card you have, you pass the Eight of Wands. Yes. Look at this. It feels exhausting to me just looking at this. It's like a bombardment of communication. So they kept on communicating. They kept on making little, sending a text, talking, trying to do whatever they could to talk to you. I'm seeing lots and lots of texts here. I actually think if they had have sent you just the occasional text, friendly message or whatever, I think you would have been fine. You wouldn't have minded. But, I think it was very obvious that they wanted more than that. And they just didn't want to take no for an answer. So they kept on and on. Look at all these wands. So it was like they're bombarding you with communication. I'm seeing a sort of game of tennis here as well. It's sort of like, maybe you say something like, no, I don't want to go out with you. I don't want to do this. I just want to concentrate on myself. I don't want this, or whatever you said. And then, they come back with reasons why. It's like, yes, you do have time, or you could make time, or you could do this. See, this is where you could make some time. See, you can do this. They just kept on missing the point. They kept on missing the point. Just like these ones, they're flying in the air and they're like arrows. They're heading toward a target, but they're missing the house. They're flying over the house, so they're missing the point. And, these ones, they're also flying over this river that's at the bottom of this card, this water. So it's like they were trying to override your feelings. That's what water represents. They were trying to override your feelings. And it was a little bit, it's a bit arrogant actually, because it's like, I don't care what you feel like. I feel like this, and I think we should do this because this is what I want. That's what I'm getting. I kind of do feel for them, but one person doesn't get to override another person's feelings. If you feel that this isn't what you want, then it's not what you want. And it's not about convincing you. That's what this person doesn't get. It's about feelings. And if you're not feeling it, you're not feeling it. It was just too much for you in the end, I think. So, it was just like, enough is enough. I can't. It's too exhausting. That's what I'm getting now. Okay, so the last card you have for your past is the Hanged Man. Yeah, I think you might have just been sort of retreating from them and from a few other people as well, actually. I don't think you're making a final decision whether you're going to kind of keep some people around you or not or whatever. But, I think you were just sitting there thinking, you'd gotten away temporarily and you're just thinking about, people, situations. A lot of different things were draining you at this time. And it wasn't just this person in the Knight of Swords, it was other people as well. And you were kind of thinking, who do I need around me and who don't I? I want peace. I want a break. I can't have this anymore. I feel controlled. I feel bossed around. I just want to be myself and I just want to get away from anyone who makes me feel like that. It's like, I don't want to feel like that again. I don't want to be steamrolled. I don't want to be pushed into things again. And yeah, I think you've just gotten a bit lost in what other people expect you to do as well. You lost yourself a bit. And, this Hanged Man's showing me that now you're on this sort of quest to get that back again and to get yourself back again. He's holding back. He's thinking about his situation with this light bulb that's around his head. And he's thinking about, how can I grow and how can I grow on my own terms without other people kind of telling me what to do or what I shouldn't be doing. So yeah, that's what you're starting to do. And, you weren't in hermit mode, but maybe you're just staying in more, getting comfortable being by yourself. Maybe you're wearing a hoodie, comfortable clothes. It might look as if you're not doing much in your downtime, but you are. You're getting to know yourself again. You're getting to know what you like, what you don't like, who you don't like. And yeah, you're going to sort all of that out. And this is the start of a really big self-growth time for you, I think. It's really, really good. I mean, this sounds all draining and horrible, but I think that person trying to push you, I think that was the catalyst for you to start to really think about who you do want around you and who you don't. That's what I'm seeing now. Okay, so the first card you have your presents, the Ten of Wands, yeah. Okay, so I've been seeing a few work problems and a few money problems for a while in your readings. And I think this is another thing you're working through and you're deciding on. And I'm really happy you're doing that. Because I'm getting this is what I'm seeing. It's this saying, it's in my head. It's like, it's an old saying, out of the frying pan into the fire. So if you don't know what that saying means, it means being in a bad situation and you do something really quickly to kind of get yourself out of that. It's like you're jumping out of the frying pan, but then you jump into the fire. It's like you jump into an even worse situation. And this is about jobs. I don't think you got into a worse situation, but it was a bit like stepping sideways. It was like, it's kind of, I'm getting this feeling of, oh, I have to get out. Like you're in a job you didn't like. And it was like, I have to get out of this. I don't care where I go. I can't bear this. I just have to get out. And you went into a new job. And I think in the beginning things were okay. It was all different and new and you had to learn new things and whatever. But then after a while, it was like, it's the same old thing, just in a different location. It doesn't feel good. So, with this process that you're starting in the Hanged Man, getting everyone's voices out of your head, finding your own voice, finding that again, I think you're doing this and I think this is going to start you moving toward what you truly want. And you already started this process a while ago, I think, and but you kind of stopped that. There's a lot of alone energy in this reading so far. It's not lonely energy, but it's like there's a really strong feeling of wanting to be alone, to sort out what you want. So yeah, again, you started this a while ago. You knew you wanted this. You started planning this, I think. But then other things got in the way. People, things, money problems, all kinds of different things. So I think you've stopped pursuing anything that was kind of out of your normal day-to-day life. And I think you just went back to work and you lived from day to day. And that was fine because that's what you needed to do at that time. I think you had financial problems, you had other things. So you just like, okay, I just have to go back and I just have to kind of build up my money again, work from day to day, pay off what I need to. Just think about that, you know, but now you're not in that anymore. And I think now you're in this mode where you're thinking about the bigger picture more, and you're thinking of planning your way, or thinking about how to plan your way out of that now. And yeah, you're going to work your way out of this now. Now, it's not going to be easy to do that, and I think you know that. It's actually going to be more work for you. I have to say that. I want to be honest with you. But because you're going to be putting in hard work on something that's for you, it's going to feel a lot freer and a lot better, and less of a burden than putting work into something that isn't for you. So I hope that makes sense, because this is a very beautiful, rejuvenating time for you. And I think you have to experience a lot of these difficult people in these situations to get you to this point. So that's what I'm seeing there. All right, so the next card you have your presence, the Nine of Cups. Yeah, you're working your way toward this. Contentment, happiness. And, you know, I think you already knew this, but it's becoming very, very obvious to you now that you can't get contentment from other people's approval. You have to get it from inside yourself and from doing what you truly want. And that's what you're pursuing now. I'm not saying you're a people pleaser. I'm not saying that. But yeah, you did lose yourself for a while. And, you know, sometimes when, you know, if we're ground down to the point where we're just exhausted, I think that's when we're the most vulnerable to being railroaded by these people. So, you know, I think you're determined to not let that happen anymore. I think, you know, once you know exactly where the track is, it's all laid out in front of you. You know, you're almost there, I think. I think you're laying down the track, you're nearly there. But once it's all sorted out, no one's going to be able to stop you. You're just going to be like a train on the track. No one's going to stop you. Non-stop express to the end. That's how it's going to be for you. There's also a situation I'm seeing here. And again, I think this is around work. Someone might be keeping something from you, I think. It feels like someone's withholding information or something. And this is kind of stopping you from being able to do something. There's like a roadblock in front of you. And someone's giving you that roadblock. They're holding something from you. Yeah, I'm just seeing you asking someone for this information or whatever this is, and it's vital to your job actually, and this is someone who you should be able to ask. They should be giving you this information, but they're not doing that. So two things here. Definitely go to someone else for that information, or somewhere else. Don't worry about going above their head if that's what you need to do. Just get the information from wherever you can, and, you know, just put your head down and do the job after that. Because if this is resonating, you know, you're looking toward other things now. You're in this job and you need this for now, but, you know, your head's really looking at other things now. And I think you'll have to stay, you know, either where you are for a while, even though it's not ideal, or in another job where you're just, you know, making money. You've just got a money job and you're building up this new thing. So, you know, your head's somewhere else now. So whoever this is that's holding this information, you know, I just think they're totally invested in what happens in the workplace drama, all that kind of thing. And your head's just not there. You know, your head's in this new thing. So try to rise above all of that. It's, you know, it's not going to get you anywhere being involved in that drama. And I think you know that. Okay, so the last card you have your presence, the Knight of Wands. Okay, something feels quite unresolved here. Yeah, I think this is about this person in the Knight of Swords. You know, you've done your absolute best, I think, to try and resolve this situation. But they keep on trying to contact you. I think they're still going to feel as if this is unresolved and they still want to contact you. That's going to keep on happening for a while, I think. You know, again, they're trying to use reason. I keep on seeing this. They're trying to use reason to kind of reason their way into love. And you can't do that. Feelings aren't about reason. If you don't feel something, you just don't. And I think what they're probably going to do is, you know, they're going to keep on coming in and out, trying to reason with you for a while, you know, trying to get you to change your mind. I think part of this is actually about control, you know, not wanting to lose control of you. That's what I'm seeing. So, because this knight's jumping up and down and he's just not in control of his horse at all. And yeah, they don't like that feeling, because you're just not doing or saying what they want. So, just stay strong, just keep strong. You're not here to go along with their idea of the way things should be. You know how things should be for you, and that's all you need to worry about. So just stay strong with that. They're going to keep trying. That's what I'm seeing. Okay, the first card you have, your future, is the Eight of Cups. Yeah, I think they will eventually walk away from, this trying and trying over and over again. They'll probably come back again a few times. I'm seeing that here. And I think they'll also be watching you, probably on social media. Sometimes you see the gap in this wall of cups as sort of a spy hole, because we can see this man through the gap. But, I think after a while it's probably going to die down. They just need to find their path, and it's not with you. The path's not with you. The other thing is, if you're going down this new road for yourself, especially in work, and I think you are, I think you might be working toward doing something by yourself, because there's solitude all through this reading. Every single card in this reading with a person on it is on their own. So, yeah, just remember, it's not going to be a super easy road for you. It's a difficult road, actually. It's easier in some ways because this is the true you. This is what you want to do. But being on your own can be really difficult. There's no safety net, and it can be difficult to get used to. And I'm seeing that this is probably going to be a little bit more difficult for you to get used to, because you've had all these people around you kind of controlling you a little bit, or kind of telling you what to do. And you don't like that, but then you've got to make that adjustment to this new thing. So, I think what you're really going to have to do is ease into this slowly if you're working for yourself. Keep your job for quite a while until you can gradually ease into this new thing. It might just be a job for money that you have to do while you're doing this new thing. But yeah, I think for you, you're going to have to ease into a new thing, because I think there's a lot of stress about jumping straight into this new thing by yourself. I don't think you're quite ready to do that, and you know that. So I think you know all this anyway. So the next card you have, your futures, the Four of Pentacles. Yeah, I think you are going to have to shut some people out, actually, not permanently. And I think you're probably already starting to do that a bit. There are going to be some voices in your head again, trying to drag you back. And I think when anyone does anything different, they always have, it always comes with a lot of questions. And why are you doing this? Why are you doing that? This whole reading, what this whole reading's about really is about letting go of people, letting go of situations where you feel controlled. Because you've had these people, and I wasn't going to say controlling when I was first talking about this, because I thought, oh, maybe that's a bit extreme. But yeah, I think you did have some controlling people around you, actually. And, it can be a lot of people who look at situations from the outside in, I'm trying to say, and they see these people being controlled, and they say things like, well, why don't you just walk off? Why don't you just leave? But I don't think it's very easy for you to do that. I don't think it was, and it's not always that easy to do. So it can be scary to move on from sometimes. It's scary to come out of that. It's almost like, when people come out of prison, and of course they want to come out of prison. Everyone who's in prison wants to come out. But it's scary to come out because, when they're in prison, they have, their whole life's dictated to them. They know what time they have to get up, what time they do this, when they do that, and everything. They have no control over anything. So to suddenly have control over everything all of a sudden, I'm trying to say, it's a bit much for them. So gradually get into this. That's what I'm seeing for you. You're adjusting to freedom. When these emotions come up and you think, oh, I'm scared, I don't know if I want to do this, just say to yourself, I'm getting into freedom, I'm becoming free, and I'm adjusting to that. And this is a good thing. It might be scary, but this is a good thing. Okay, I know I'm stumbling my words a bit, but I'm trying to kind of articulate this. All right, so the last card you have for your future is the Hermit. Okay, so yeah, again, being alone, all of that, working out what you want to do, finding your path. That's exactly what this Hermit's doing. This is really summing up the whole reading. So yeah, you're going to be by yourself for a while, working out what you want to do, strategizing. You're very, very brave, actually. You might not feel brave because you might feel like, oh, I'm not ready to start totally on my own yet. I'm still working in this other job. I'm working my way toward that. But most people don't even do that. So, see yourself as a brave person. See yourself as a kind of a person who's doing this thing that a lot of people don't have the courage to do. You have had some stops and starts and with people in the way, financial problems, and finances aren't going to be amazing to start with. So that's why you're going to stay in a job or whatever. Hopefully you are. But things are going to grow in that area, in other areas as well. And, it's starting to grow because you're becoming free. That's why things are going to grow for you. A tree can't grow if it's encased in concrete, if it's being controlled. And what's happening with you now is you've already started to crack that concrete. And I think, yeah, it's about to break open now for you. The concrete is going to break open and fall apart and you're going to come out. That's what I'm seeing is happening.